Kia ora everyone, thank you and welcome to another episode of Find Your Front, the official New Zealand Rugby League podcast. My name's Cliff Thompson. This man over to my right has and needs no introduction. It's our great and legend Ali Lauatiti. But Ali, a few words from you before we open up. Say hello.
Hi guys, just good to come on and hear some of our champions, our athletes, and those that are part of the game or even been around the game. See how they find their front, and just good to have a kōrero and have a chat and say. Other than this legend coming up, so you introduce him.
Awesome. And look, privileged and proud to be in the room today with one of our great current active high performance athletes in New Zealand, and that's Kai Kara France. Kai, welcome, bro.
Sure, bro. Thank you. What a entry. Pleasure to be here and share space with you brothers, and be honest and vulnerable and open up about, I guess, the pathway and the vehicle to get to whatever that is to be at your best in your chosen field. But happy to be here, bro. And
awesome.
Thanks,
you, bro. Sure. Yeah, we're privileged, man. Like, just obviously know you're a busy man and you're always in training and keeping yourself fit and well and ready for your sport, and we'll talk a bit about that as well. But I think it's awesome, bro. These platforms, these moments, to be able to sort of go back and find out a bit about what makes the person, and the start point of that is maybe if you can tell us a little bit about where you're from, your Whakapapa, where your whānau comes from, and then we'll sort of journey towards where we are today.
Yeah, so for those that I guess are new to me being in this space, Kai or Kai Whare Kara France, toko ingoa, ko Waikato, nā te tūwhare toa, nā te kahanunu, Nauraru, nā te atahau nui a Paparangi, nā iwi. Brought up in Tamaki, Auckland, but whakapapa back down to Hawke's Bay mostly, Waikato and Hawke's Bay. Most of my mum's side's from Napier. So all the cousins down there. So my wife's whānau's all from far north. So, but big whakapapa for our two boys, our two pepes. We've got a massive connection now. So, I carry my my Māori side, close to my heart. This is why I am the way I am. It's not a coincidence of where I am. It's in my blood, so I tap into that and I use that as a superpower. Being Māori, being Polynesian, carrying our tūpuna, and I guess being that modern day version of our tūpuna. Instead of stepping onto that battlefield, I'm stepping into the cage. So, my journey first started. I guess my first kind of introduction to mixed martial arts was about 10 years old.
Yep.
I walked into a jiu-jitsu gym. My friend's dad did jiu-jitsu, and he said, I'll come down to the kids' classes. So just went down on a Sunday to the kids' classes. I fell in love with the games, playing bull rush and all these little games that we had on the mats. And I just keep kind of turning up. My coach at the time, Carl Weber, was one of the pioneers for mixed martial arts in New Zealand. And this is when it was underground, no gloves, bare knuckle, K1, just no rules. And I was only jiu-jitsu at the time, so just grappling, holds and all of that. And I was always wondering, why has my coach always got black eyes and beaten up? And I didn't realize what he actually did. We only learned I guess the ground part of that. And then when I saw one of his first fights, I was like, man, this is crazy. But I just had no idea that this was a sport. So that was kind of my first, I guess, exposure to it. And then kind of went away from the sport. Started high school, went to Mount Albert Grammar. So jiu-jitsu and grappling was like a side thing for me. My main sport was soccer. So that's what I grew up playing from 4 to about 18, 19. That was my main sport, soccer. So I went to Mount Albert Grammar for soccer. Was in the academy. My goal was to be an all white. That was the dream. But high school is a tough place, especially with so many people that play soccer, it's hard to break through. And I was good, but I wasn't top tier. Growing up, I was always kind of the smallest of my classes for my height. And I guess, being third and fourth form, you're kind of finding your feet in high school. I had soccer and sport to kind of fall back on, but definitely got bullied a lot. Just I was seen as like a target or, I don't know, vulnerable. And then, I got beaten up a few times at school, and it got so bad that I stopped going to school.
Yeah.
My mum pulled me out, and I had to kind of do something that you're always scared of, is like snitching on the bullies or like calling them out. Had to write like a letter of what happened and all this. And then, my parents said, let's get you back into martial arts. Kind of build that confidence in yourself, not to learn self-defense necessarily, but to just know that you can hold your own. And that was when I got back into I guess MMA and martial arts, and that was when I was about 14 down at Strike Force out in West Auckland. And then that's when I started to really commit to trainings, and still doing soccer and my other sports, but slowly just working on that craft. And then man, it's crazy how that was the introduction to it.
Can I just jump in there, because you talk about obviously that stuff happened at high school, right? You mentioned it's pretty tough. Tough place in a number of different ways, whether it's learning or social groups. But why do you think, if you look back on your experience, and you think back now, being an adult, that can hold your own, and obviously, we look at you now and what you do, and probably one of the toughest sport you can be part of. What do you think, when you reflect back, makes another young person bully another young person?
It's definitely projecting. That's that saying, hurt people. So it's something that they've brought from their household to school, and that's something they're carrying. So back then, you're obviously naive to it. You don't know why. You just think, why me, kind of thing. And it's definitely sad, because you're just carrying on your day. You didn't do anything to I guess attract any of that. It just, you were there at the right time, and they wanted to project it onto you, and then before you know it, it's happening every day, because they say, oh, this is my outlet. It's not a healthy outlet, but that's the way they're getting it out of their system. So for me, I always knew that training was like a therapy for me, because it was my way of expressing myself, but in a healthy, positive way. I can go in there, having a tough day or whatever that is, and then leave it in the gym, and then always leave feeling better, and you haven't hurt anyone, or it's you're training, but you're not there to be to use violence as a tool, or you're not trying to do it to hurt anyone. It's just you're doing there to kind of discipline yourself, and that's what attracted me to martial arts, is those things you learn on the mats, the stuff that you need to learn as a young man, navigating your way through manhood, accountability, being disciplined, being respectful, being having the courage, having like a routine. All these things you need to develop to progress in anything. So that's what I loved about martial arts, and it's all on you. The amount of effort you put in is what you're going to get out. So from playing soccer most of my life in a team setting, you had to rely on teammates, you had to rely on other people to kind of pick up the energy and all of that. But in fighting, it's when you walk in there, it's a lonely place. You got to hold your own, and kind of know that preparation and your lead up is where the confidence comes from. If you put in the work, you know that you're not going to be fazed by whatever happens. But if you haven't, then you're going to get hurt. It's just how it is in our sport. Something I loved is, if you don't love the training part of martial arts, fighting's not for you. Or just being a professional athlete is not for you, because that's what you got to love. You got to love the contact. You got to love the pursuit of perfection. You've always got to try get better, be better. yeah, I think I got that work ethic definitely from my family. Just it got installed to me at an early age.
Yep.
If you want something, you just got to go out and get it. I wasn't gifted with these physical, abilities, being the tallest or freakishly strong, all these things. I just had to be the hardest worker in the room. So my old man and my mum always encouraged me and my brother with positive affirmation. Keep going, you're doing well, and that kind of encouraged us to keep going, keep pushing, and just that work ethic can set you apart from talented people that have it, but it's just potential. It's hard when that potential hasn't been tapped into and harnessed and nurtured, because it's just kind of a wasted talent. You got to have that, and then have the all these other things that come with striving to be the best in the world. You have to have that work ethic. You have to have that accountability of your actions. When no one's watching, you got to be still putting in the work and staying course to the bigger picture. And I always knew that, like at a young age when I was exposed to UFC and into martial arts, that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So that's the path I've always been on.
So I know you're talking about your experience at school and all that. Was there anyone that kind of, any of your mates kind of backed you or, stood up for you? Or, but also, hearing, was there anyone else another figure that kind of helped you out, through those tough times?
Yeah, there were, close mates that I'm still close with now. A few boys that have gone on and done well in their fields. I remember the bro, Michael Falefa. Michael Fatilofa. Yep. He was one of the bros that was, I remember in 7th form, he was like, I always believed in you, bro. And I always remembered that, one of our last days of school, he always like kind of knew something was different about me, this energy that I had. Yeah. And it wasn't like a confidence or like a cockiness. It was just like he knows where he's heading kind of thing.
Self-belief.
Yeah, definitely self-belief. A few other bros that, I've stayed tight with since school. But yeah, it's a funny place when you go back to high school, because no one knows what they're doing, everyone's just trying to navigate their way through I guess adolescence and bridging into what they want to be. But it's all trial and error. You got to do everything to know what you want to do. Right. I think that was a big part of my upbringing, is like try every sport, try every experience, and figure out what works for you, what doesn't. Sport was always a vehicle for me to kind of express myself. I wasn't, the most confident person growing up. I was quite shy, timid. I guess that was just my default that I always went back to. But, being able to kind of hold your own on the field or in the gym, and just know who you are, was a big part of it. Something that I grew up, definitely knew I was, Māori, but I guess especially in Auckland, you're quite disconnected in that way. Yeah. You have to go looking for those spaces to be a lot more in that Te Ao Māori space, and something my parents kind of knew when I was ready, I would go back on, like a full circle. So me and my brother kind of grew up knowing where we're from, but we were predominantly in Pākehā spaces with the token Māori in the group of Pākehās, or just the kind of, especially in soccer, there's not many Māoris that play. And then we did snowboarding as well. Also, not many Māoris that snowboard. Mountain biking, not many that do that. Yeah, so all these different sports and stuff, but the journey that really pushed me towards stepping into my real journey and finding out where I'm from, and my tupuna is definitely having children. Is something that I wanted to make sure that's a part of their journey, and to do that, I have to walk that journey with them.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah,
no, that's awesome, bro. And a couple of questions sort of buzzing through my head. One is around when you go through what you go through, whether it's called, whether it's bullying or anything like that at school, and the person decides, you know what, I'm going to go and learn martial arts. And I think about some of the things you've said, which is you went and learnt it for yourself, for your own self-discipline. Because I'd imagine there'd be many out there that would go and do it to, actually take charge, or to use it in a way which is, to fight back, essentially. But what does it mean? So I think about it this way. What does it mean for you to be able to sort of have power, but show restraint in how you wield it? Because I think it's beautiful, bro, when you say those things about you went and learned these disciplines for you and it helped you be well. And, you know, and you could easily, like I said, you have now the power and the knowledge to, if you really wanted to, you know, pay back, hurt people, show people, but you have the restraint.
Just thinking about the belt. You're just thinking about the belt, eh?
But you have the restraint, eh?
That's it. Yeah, that's it. That becomes a big part of the lifestyle that you choose when you choose this path. It's like in Spider-Man or Superman, with great power becomes great responsibility. And it's just something that I knew that it wasn't going to help if I got into fights outside of the gym or got into these altercations. Like, you know, if I get injured, that's a big part of this. If, you know, I go and hit someone, I'm still going to feel bad about myself. It's not gonna do anything good, you know. So I always knew, leave fighting for the gym or for the fights, and you can always walk away. Fighting's always the last resort. You don't want to resort to violence unless you have to for self-defense or you know your life's at risk. So for me, I always knew that you know, just be the better man and walk away and just live to fight another day kind of thing, until, you know, we get paid for this and this is our livelihood. So for me, it's, you know, if you get a cut off on the road or whatever it is, man, it's not worth it. Just let it go.
Yeah, bro. And I think it's so insightful because, you know, people, I think a lot would look into the sport and think, oh yeah, you know, combat sport is all about fighting. But, you know, hearing you say this, that, you know, leave that for that part of the ring, but actually, you know, it's all the disciplines that come with it, the lifestyle and the restraint. And I think it doesn't matter what sport you play, your comment about if you don't like training or you don't like discipline, you're going to struggle in sort of the space. I think those are important messages, bro. So I really appreciate you bringing, sort of highlighting them through your story. And I think that takes more courage, is, again, to have power, but to hold it back says more about a person's character than their ability to actually do damage, and do harm if they could.
No, 100%, bro. A lot of that is, going back onto what are your like morals and what did you grow up on and who influenced you in a positive way. And a big part of, I guess, that ethos and that mentality is, you got to look at the bigger picture. Who do I want to be, you know, leading as an example for the rangatahi or, you know, my children and my whānau? And, you know, is that going to be a service of me or is it going to hurt me? So, you got to leave it to what is the bigger picture. But yes, a lot of the mindset for fighting, it's, people just see the surface level of what we do, you know, the violence, you know, all that stuff that comes off it. But to do this as a profession, it's a thinking man's sport. You know, if I was just in there to hurt someone and use my brute strength and be aggressive, man, I wouldn't last one. I'd last one fight and I'd want to hang it up because I'd be taking too much damage. It's not about that. It's all strategy. It's all tactics. It's all, it's you're working. That's how martial arts started. It wasn't to see what martial arts was a superior. It was to see what techniques and how you can counter someone's strength against them. So like jiu-jitsu was introduced back in the 1990s in the UFC, and he was fighting all these like massive like kickboxers and boxers, sumo wrestlers, and they didn't know what this technique was. He was just jumping on their backs and then choking them out, and they were like, what's he doing that's different? And it was using their weight against them. And then they realized it wasn't any martial art that was superior. It's if you knew all of them. So you had to train everything: boxing, kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, karate, like taekwondo. So you had to learn all of those just so you could be well-rounded. And that, I think that's something that we all kind of gravitated at our gym at City Kickboxing, is you don't want to be like a one-trick pony of like just boxing. You want to be able to like hold your own in anything, whatever happens in a fight. If you get taken to the ground, know how to get up. If you have to keep the fight standing, know how to kind of back yourself with kickboxing and boxing. So you don't want to have any holes. So it takes a long time to perfect that. That's why this journey is never ending. It's like the more you know, the less you know. So yeah, you just got to constantly be in the gym. There's no kind of off season. It's just constantly trying to upskill and get familiar with different situations. And the day you stop learning is the day you have to step away, because there's always going to be someone bigger, someone better, someone younger.
I totally agree.
That's hungrier.
And I think, man, it's such a powerful analogy for life, right? Like whether it's sport or fighting, but to that constant pursuit of better, whatever that looks like. Yeah. The constant pursuit of excellence within yourself. But then I think that constant pursuit of finding yourself to be well-rounded as a human being, Yeah. And we talk about things like empathy, resilience, gratitude, care, compassion, because it makes me go back to another comment you've made already, which is, and obviously I think it's come through a little bit, the importance of your Māori heritage to you. Yeah. But you made mention that your culture is your superpower. Bro, enlighten us on what that means for you, and what do you mean by that, for yourself?
Yeah, so this is crazy timing. We're doing this kōrero on the weekend. I was at a wānanga just for tāne, just for males, just for men. Few that weren't Māori, but most of us Māori. There's about 100 of us, all sharing space, all walks of life. This kaupapa is called Tāne Mātua. It's run by one of the bro Bs. He's one of the leaders in the space. And what I love being about this space is with just other tāne is we can bring in all our experiences, and you learn just from listening. That's where the medicine is in the kōrero. Yeah. So you pick up all these little gems from, guys that come from gang life patches, guys that are correctional officers, tāne, other fathers, other, uncles, vulnerable tāne that are, finding their feet just like we were in high school. So all these different walks of life, but all connected. If that's being Māori, if that's to the kaupapa, or longing to kind of be their best version. But to do that, you got to let stuff go. You got to, get that off your shoulders. You can't carry that weight with you. So it's a safe space to kind of do that, and kind of having that weekend to offload and reset, kind of have a cleanse, as well as navigate through challenges that we're going through, you've been going through. Every time you kind of learn something new about yourself. But yeah, to have that kind of space has definitely helped me, I guess, tap into the superpower that we call you being in your different, you're letting go of those roles. Yeah. So for me, my line of work, you have to tap into this dark space of welcoming on, we call it tumatoinga, so the god of war. So you got to welcome that on. So to do that, it's got to be a two-way street. So there's got to be a balance. So to do that, you got to have a clear path for rongo, god of peace. So when you go out to the cage, something I always do is a karakia, where I'm tapping into tumatoinga. I'm letting go of that responsibility and those roles that I play at home, that father, that brother, that son, and I'm tapping into that warrior version of myself. So when I'm in there, I'm clear, I'm content, there's no emotion, I have a task, and I know what I need to do. So when I get in there, I'm so clear, and my intentions are direct. So then when I step away from that space and come back into my whare, I welcome back rongo and let go of tumatoinga, so I'm not carrying that back to my whānau. And that's how you can find that balance. So a big part of what I do is being able to kind of switch those on and off. So yeah, that's something that's been big in my journey, because growing up fighting and not really diving in deep into my te ao Māori, I was doing that, I guess, subconsciously. But now having the reo and the tikanga to go with it, it's all syncing up and all kind of making sense. And that's when like you're, I feel like with the training and all the preparation that goes into it, and then you have this to go with it, that's when you just know.
Yeah.
When you're stepping in, it's like, I'm already like content with whatever happens. Like, I'm ready to that's the mentality you have to have. I'm ready to kill or be killed.
Yeah.
Because I know where I need to go. If I need to get this
right.
win or do whatever I need to do to come out on top. But that's the difference at the highest level. The fight doesn't start when the bell rings. The fight starts when you're bleeding. The other guys, cut open as well, and it's who wants this more.
Yeah.
That's what you're tapping into. That's when the real fight starts.
He's doing it tough too, eh?
Yeah, because that's when you're testing each other's manhood, and that's when you go to places where you'll leave a piece of you in there. Same as on the field when you guys play. Sometimes you come out, smashed, but and you always remember that game. And for us, you always remember
those moments
in that shared space you had with that opponent.
Yeah. It's powerful, bro.
Yeah. So,
have you always been, into your culture, or because I say that because I know there's, we talk about identity in the space, and some of our youth are probably still looking for it. And I was at a family thing, and some of our adults or elders in the family are still looking for their where they're from, and so I'm thinking, like, our adults are telling us to reach, look, go back to our roots and try and find, and even they don't know. So how did you get into that journey? Was it because of your fighting, or is your parents into it, or?
Yeah. So a lot of it is my family is heavy into te ao Māori, and my dad and my brothers are both lawyers. My mum's into business as well, so definitely there's something that we've had to kind of go back on. But it's my grandfather. He was a big po in our whānau growing up. He was one of those koros that when he walked into a room, nothing had to be said. You just had that. He demanded that mana, that respect, and that's my bloodline. So to have that as as a standard to look up to, that was big for me and my brother. They always knew that whatever path we chose, it was going to be we were always going to welcome being a leader in our whānau. And I didn't go down the path that my brother went. Going to university, doing his masters in law, and then doing that academic pathway. I dropped out of university. It wasn't for me. I wanted to just train. My head wasn't in the books. I was training to be, I was studying to do a bachelor in sport. No, a bachelor in arts first in media, and then it was too much for me at Auckland Uni, so I dropped out, and then I went and did a bachelor in sport, something a bit more relative to what I was into, but still I wasn't I wasn't comfortable just being inside and doing all that. I just wanted to train and fight. And this was when I was about 18 when I made that move to, it was a tough conversation to have with my dad saying, I want to drop out. I don't want to do this. It felt like I was letting them down. And then he said, whatever you do, I'm going to support you. Yeah. So whatever it is, you just got to be passionate about it. And then he knew that was my pathway. So, in fighting this, it's not a smooth sailing kind of career. There's going to be a lot of setbacks, a lot of learning curves, and you just have to have that kind of that want to persevere, whatever it is, make it work. Yeah. Through the losses, you learn, you get better, you get back to the gym, and you keep the head down, and you just keep grinding. So it took me 10 years of writing on my goals list, make the UFC. Yeah, and in 10 years' time, I could finally tick that off. But yeah, every New Year's I had to rewrite that because it hadn't happened yet. And I was living in Thailand at the time when I dropped out of university. I moved over there for 4 years just to get more experience fighting around Asia. So I was fighting every month in another country, boxing, kickboxing, MMA, just to get experience. It wasn't really to get better at the boxing side of things or kickboxing. I just knew that this ring time was going to help me for my MMA career. Yeah. So you learn a lot of things, meet a lot of people, and just through experience, I got better. So, I was based in Thailand and Phuket for about 4 years. Wow. And then after 4 years, I kind of had to rethink everything because I wasn't getting better. I had to like look at my coaches, look at my surroundings, and be like, is this helping me get to where I need to be? And I got to a stagnant point in my life where it wasn't, you know, it was a bit too comfortable going to the beach, you know, having a scooter, kind of living the island life where I didn't have a coach kind of telling me what I needed to hear.
You were hanging out with Mike Smith, eh?
Mike Smith?
No.
Just, I had a few bad influences. Tai Tuivasa was one of them. No, just, it's a tourist place.
Yeah. Well,
and you forget that you're not there on holiday. You're there to train. You're there to work. I'm like, I couldn't keep calling my parents saying, hey, can you just top up my account? And then we're not funding this fantasy that you're living. You can come home and get a job if you want to do that.
Yeah.
So that's where I was at. But it was a good learning curve. I had to really kind of commit to fighting. And that's when I realized if I want to do this, I got to be all in. Can't just be, you know, part-time professional athlete.
That's right.
You have to figure this out if it's really for you. And then 2016 is when I made the call to come back home and train under Eugene at City Kickboxing. We'd done a few trainings together, and I loved the energy and the wealth of knowledge that I learnt off him. So I said, that's where I need to be. So perfect that I could come back home, not have to sacrifice, you know, being away from whānau and be kind of homegrown again. So I took all that knowledge that we learnt over in Thailand and overseas, and we brought that back to City Kickboxing. So I've been there since 2016 now.
So can I ask, bro, just to jump in there, like you mentioned about sort of every year resetting. So I hadn't achieved that yet, tick the box.
Yep.
So reset, goal.
Yep.
And you've said a lot about, which I think is awesome, again, transposing across life around the importance of reflection, the importance of asking yourself some hard questions.
Yeah.
Who have you got around you? What's the environment? Like all these things, no matter what, if you want to be great at what you do or good at what you do or successful, whatever success looks like, you've got to be able to have those reflection moments.
Yep.
So for you, what was the moment when you said, so if we think about that list or that reset and that goal, you come home, City Kickboxing with Eugene, but can you remember the moment where you're like, because I'd imagine every fight, once you've started deciding I'm going to really give it a crack, the stages start getting a little bit bigger and the crowds grow and the lights get bigger and all of that. What was the moment for you when you looked around and you thought, I can tick it? Or are you still in pursuit of that?
10-year process too, eh?
Yeah, 10-year process. No, it was definitely when I came home. I was coming off a loss. So that was another reason why I had to kind of switch it up, because I was coming off a loss. I fought in Japan on a New Year's show, about 30,000 people I fought in front of. And I learned a tough lesson that night, which was how to, you got to check leg kicks.
Right. I
got kicked in the leg so many times that I couldn't feel my leg anymore. It was so battered and bruised. And it was a few adjustments. If I made early on, I could have fixed that straight away in the fight, but I didn't. And I had to go switch stance, and then it was just messy. So it was stuff I had to kind of go back on, the basics, fundamental stuff that I missed, trying to do all the fancy stuff. And that's why I needed to make a move, just so I could get back to what got me to where I am. And that was always ticking off stuff that I was good at. I was missing those. So that's why I had to go back home. And coming off a loss, especially if you're trying to, get into the UFC, you have to come in with momentum. You have to come in with hype. They don't want to sign anyone that's not winning, not exciting. And, you got to have something about you that draw people to come want to watch you. So when I came back to City Kickboxing, Eugene said, just turn up the training and the rest will take care of itself. So that's what I did. I just turned up every day, twice a day. I ended up taking a fight in Melbourne, a few months of training at City Kickboxing. Ended up taking a fight on a week's notice against a bigger guy, bigger Brazilian. Was down two rounds. I had to finish it in the third round. Ended up knocking him out in the third round by a clean shot, walkaway knockout. And then I fought in China a few months after that. Won that by knockout. And then in the space of 2 years, I was on a 5-fight win streak, all by first round knockouts. Mostly finishes. And then 2018, I remember it because there was a TV that was at our gym, and I was like, what's this TV doing here? And then Eugene came in with Izzy, and he said, this is just a thank you video for everyone that's helped us out with Izzy's fight camp. So this is just like a kind of recognition video. So first thing pops up, Dana White, and then he says my name, says, "Hey Guy, just want to say congratulations, brother, you're in the UFC."
Wow.
So Eugene and Izzy had surprised me with this announcement. Awesome. While they were there on their last fight camp. They got the deal signed. They got me in.
Wow.
So yeah, being on a 5-fight win streak over 2 years. But, you know, I've been in a fight camp my whole life pretty much, just building to these moments. And then for that to finally happen, because I had a lot of setbacks, a lot of, like, I was close, but I didn't get it. And then to finally get, you know, Dana White to acknowledge me, and then for it to happen, you know, that's when the waterwork started. You know, when I hugged Eugene, he said, it's all worth it, bro. You're here now. And then that's the hardest thing now. It's no easy fight in the UFC. So now you've got to really step it up. So yeah, I've been in the UFC since 2018 now.
Yeah, bro. And is it that sense, like, now that you're at that level, now the work, if not begins, continues even more? Like the disciplines are greater, bigger, larger?
100%. Those fundamental stuff you had to learn coming up is when you really appreciate it. So like being able to travel and get looked after, and actually make enough money for a living, not just make enough to be able to train. You know, that's when you really start to appreciate where you are, and it's not given to you. You had to earn this. You know, a lot of times I've seen it where fighters maybe weren't ready and they got given their opportunity. They're in and out because it's a different level. They weren't ready for it. They were exposed. They were shocked by the level. Yeah. But we built up what we do at our gym. We build guys up where when they get to that big show where the bright lights are, thousands of people watching, you're unshakable. Because you've done it all before. You've been there. You were ready a few years ago, but they pulled you back because they knew that, you know, if you're going to do this, you got one shot at it. And it's, you know, there's only this constant pursuit of hard work and dedication. And then before you know it, you're fighting for world titles, and you're in the UFC for 5-10 years. You know, you've got this long career, but those things that you learned early on, you don't kind of forget. So yeah, big part of that was, you know, Eugene. I wouldn't be where I am today without my head coach. You know, he really pushed me to be my best. You know, and that's what he's good at. That's when you know you've got a good coach, when he can cater towards different personalities, different upbringings, different way of being motivated. You know, I'm not a person that likes to be like a drill sergeant, military style training. I'm motivated, you know, by myself. I can push myself, but just they need those little affirmations like, "You got this, bro. Keep going." Little things like that. You know, if you're Izzy, then he's on your case. You know, he's like, "Get up." But yeah, it's just different people, different personalities. So that's when you get the best out of them.
Bro. Yeah, and I think it's funny because, you know, you jog in my memory when we were post one of the Warriors games there, you and I in the locker room having a bit of a yarn, and I talked to you. We were having that chat about, like, bro, in our sport we have well-being people, specified role to support stuff that happens away from the field, life stuff. But as you talk about, like, Eugene and city kickboxing, would you say that is it fair to say that sort of became, because that was the conversation we sort of had that's maybe led us here, is because it's an isolated sport and you're in the ring one-on-one, while you might not have well-being managers or advisors around you, your coaches, your people become, for lack of a better term, your well-being team. Would that be a fair
definitely
sort of summary?
Yeah, definitely. That's the space that we're in. It's just such an intimate space where you're sweating and you're on it, like grappling each other all the time. Yeah, you share the mats with these guys day in, day out. You know, 2-3 times a day, so you get to know them real well. And that's the first thing Eugene does. If he's not your friend, or you're not on a friend basis, you can't train here. It's not how it is. In America, sometimes you got these gyms that have cliques inside the gyms, so they train with themselves. They don't really have like an open policy, but our gym is not like that. It's
like family.
It's fun, yeah. If you're in here, you blood, sweat, and tears with the team. Our team trainings are these set times. You turn up. There's no kind of individualized. Yeah, there is your pad sessions and all of that for yourself. But, you know, we're really big on, you know, leading the way for the next generation, showing these guys, these young fellas, women and male, what it takes to get to this top level. So we have to lead by example in that way. And yeah, just giving your body back, you know, when you have a fight, that's one of the biggest things, is everyone's going to be all for you, you know, doing whatever you need. They'll be there to help you, push you, train with you, spar you. But then when it's your teammates' turn to fight, they expect that. So you don't just go away. You know, you obviously have a holiday and let your body rest, but, you know, you want to give your time back, because it's a two-way street. You got to be able to be a good teammate in that way, not injure your teammates, you know, not take away from their livelihood just because you wanted to, you know, hurt them at sparring. You know, there's a bigger picture. So there's a thing of like hard sparring, but it has to be like catered towards, there's got to be a purpose behind it. Sure. If it's just us hurting each other, are we getting better? Probably not. So why are we doing that? So yeah, you got to be trust, because you got to trust that. Trust your teammate's not going to, you know, take your head off. If he hurts you, you'll be like, okay, I'll back off now, work on something else. If they're bigger, you know, not having to like go full strength, being able to work on, you know, other things rather than, you know, brute strength, all that stuff. So that's why you can train with, you know, guys like Izzy, who's like twice my height, but we can still get stuff out of it. He can work on speed or timing and still not hurt each other and have a long career without, you know, breaking each other. So yeah,
that's it. That's good about having a Samoan coach too, eh?
Yeah.
any opportunity.
He's Samoan Māori, man.
That's right. Respect, bro. Now, hey, but I like what you said, bro, about that giving your body back.
Yeah.
Right? I think, man, it encompasses so much, bro, about selflessness and, you know, being part of whānau.
Yeah.
That I grow, you grow, I win, you win, we win.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, definitely.
I think it's a nice way of sort of, I really like that. It nicely summarizes what it means to, we talk about leadership, servant leadership, selflessness.
Yeah.
You give of yourself because people have given into you. So important in high performance sport, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, a big part of it is that trust and having that support around you, you know, when the tide rises, all the ship rises together. And a big part of what we've done at our gym, you know, it's pretty unreal to have 8 UFC fighters from the one gym, especially from a small place, Aotearoa, New Zealand. But that's been a big thing, is putting the ladder down for the next generation, you know, helping out the next guy. I know Izzy helped me out to get me into the UFC, you know, obviously off my hard work, but he's having that recognition and that name behind him. He was able to kind of nudge Dana, we'll sign him straight away. So when we have a guy at our gym that we can see that's got potential, you know, hardworking,
paving the way,
ready to go, when we get behind him, there holds weight there. The UFC listen, Dana White listens, and the whole world start to know, oh, this is a guy to watch then. So we've got a lot of guys like that coming through, and it's exciting, because that's when you know a system's successful, is if it's constant. It's not just the one person doing well. It's all of us.
Like but it's not like that in the high performance, you know. Like it's cool what you guys do, you know. It's you know, it's not a secret that the reason why you guys are successful and doing well. You guys got each other's back, and I think especially when we kind of sit in this high performance, we don't see that sometimes, you know. And I think that's awesome, man.
Those connections, the relationships, like you said about when you reference Eugene about if we can't be friends, you can't train here. You know, I think, man, we undervalue the importance of relationship and connection, and that means, you know, we can go deeper. And when we go into the trenches, we have to say the hard things or do the hard things. We know it comes from a place of belief and support and love and care. All that stuff really, really important. I want to ask, bro, about sort of we get to a point now of well, let's reference Kai and rugby league. Like, so what's your connection to our great game, bro? Like, you know, you said you played soccer, but I know from a high performance lens, there's always interest in what others are doing, and when others are doing good and well, and you support that in your friendships and relationships. But what's your connection to our game of rugby league, and then obviously your link into the work you do with the Warriors?
Yeah, bro. So this goes back to so my I didn't play rugby, but all my older brothers did. my dad used to sponsor a rugby league team back in the day, the Papatoe Panthers.
Oi.
So I think he was there when Monty used to play for them back in the day. So
You might have sponsored his boots.
yeah. So my family's been always involved in rugby. My older brother used to play for Richmond back in the day, back in the Bartercard days. So he was semi-professional.
Sorry
back
for your
then.
brother, bro, playing for Richmond.
No,
That's awesome.
They were doing really well. This is when Richmond and Marist were together, the brothers. So we used to always go down and watch down in Greyland. So yeah, even though I was playing a different sport, I was always connected in some sort of way. My other brother played for Point Chev back in the day as well. So, 2011, we were over in Sydney for the grand final against Manly.
Yep.
I remember I had a fight the day before. And I'd won, but I got my legs a bit banged up. So I remember we were late to our flight and I was having to run. I was limping. And hurry up, we're going to miss it. But yeah, we got our tickets through the Mad Butcher, through Lychee. So yeah, it was tough weekend. Obviously, it just awesome to support. I think that year was all three teams made the finals. Vulcans, juniors, and then and the boys. So pretty cool just to be there.
Wow.
And see it. See, our boys go to battle. So yeah, when I got this opportunity to kind of help out the team, it just kind of came naturally. I was working at Te Aotoa at Māori TV with Adam Blair.
Oh yeah. And
he was saying, "Oh, bro, I think we might need someone to come help some grappling. Would you be interested?" And I was like, "Hell yeah!" Like, I've been waiting for this. I've just been taking notes and like seeing how we can help in any way, just be a value and be a service. So yeah, I had a meeting with Webby and we hit it off straight away. He came down to the old gym, and who was that? Sorry, in Mount Eden. Came down, we went over a few things, went for a coffee, and then straight away just hit it off. And he said, "Yeah, I knew that you're the right person." And then just last year was our kind of trial year of how we can implement wrestling and grappling to help out the boys and help benefit it for rugby league. So I was learning on the job. Haven't grown up playing footy, haven't played, been in that setting before. So pretty intimidating, but yeah, very grateful and just pinch myself moments, coaching alongside Webby and like guys I grew up with, Stacey, seeing Sean, someone I've looked up to, being in the team for so long. So yeah, just really just buzz out every time I'm down here looking at all the legends on the walls.
Man, part of the secret, didn't it?
Growing up watching you play, just seeing how much that aura around you guys when you would play, that's what I love about footy. Is like whatever for the 80 minutes, whoever's watching, you forget about all the worries, you forget about what you're doing in your life, and you're just immersed into the footy game, that emotional roller coaster. Similar to fighting, and you remember those big games where you were, what you were doing, who you were with. So yeah, something that I've been passionate about. So yeah, last year was a big year just to kind of upskill and get the boys on the same level and the same system, and then look how much growth they've had on the field and off. That mental resilience, backing themselves, not quitting on themselves. If they're down first half, letting that go, not holding that onto bringing that into the second half. That's something that we've been big on. And just holding yourself to the highest standards is something that we're big on the mats. And the art of staying disciplined for however long that is, 30-minute training session or an 80-minute game. Yeah. If your mind wanders, bringing it back, that's the skill we're trying to learn. And something I've learned from fighting is trying to teach that to the boys is being present in the moment is definitely a skill in itself. But that separates you from good players to great players, or good fighters to great fighters. Being able to not overthink, not doubt yourself, not hold on to things. Being able to stay calm in the chaos, being able to not quit, even if you're down in a fight or down in a game, having that kind of undoubtable belief that you'll get it back, or we'll get this back, even if you have to carry the team or find a way. You you never lose hope of it. You always hold on to it, that hope of winning or finding it. So heaps of stuff that we learn on the mats. But a big thing about for wrestling especially, there's no easing into it. The only way to get better is to do it. That's where the hard work is. It's the constant up downs. It's the scrambles. It's the wrestling and fighting. Isn't about like letting someone get a position on you. It's about if you're willing to keep going. And whoever quits first is who's going to get position. True. Same in a tackle. If you try to fight them, you never want to let them get comfortable. You always want to just keep going, keep staying on top, having that attacking mindset, not just trying to survive. So is the game interesting for you to watch now? Like when you watch every collision and tackle, are you watching it from a dominate the wrestle, like from that perspective? Definitely. Or a fan, like how is it for you now as you sit there and watch it? No, definitely taking it in a different perspective of like, okay, what's the second man doing? If we came off wrong on that first initial contact, are they coming in quick? Are they sharp on their angles? Are they lifting their legs up? Are they nailing on the bottom and then staying heavy? Are their knees off the ground? Because that means that they're applying pressure. All these things that I'm learning as I go, but you start to pick up on the language and the drills that are going to benefit the boys, and a lot of that is stuff we do on the mats every day. Leverage, body weight distribution, efficiency on how you get up, where your head placement is, posture. So the little details, but if you're doing those right, it's making a massive difference on the field and slowing that ball down, getting us back onto our line faster, and being resilient on our goal line, where we want it to be, where they're like, no, we're not going to find a way. These guys are too tough, or they're doing something different. We don't want it to be like, we'll find a way. They'll eventually fold, or they'll eventually let us in. We don't want that to be a habit. So we have to break those habits straight away. So heaps of stuff we can keep building off. I was back in on Monday. I think we've had a few too many weeks in between our sessions, so we're missing a few details in what we're trying to execute. So to kind of keep that refreshed, I think that's going to be a big thing. Even if it's a 10 or 15 minute workout, at least we're going over stuff that is going to make a big difference. Stuff that I've been seeing the last few weeks is just a bit of disconnection in the body, and that might be just body awareness, not using our hips, not using everything, rather just lying on things, and kind of falling over in the tackle, where we want to be in a good position, ready to get back on our feet and then back on our line. So I'm not trying to overstep my boundaries in the game. I'm just here to do what I do, which is on the wrestling mats. But I know that's a big buy-in with the players. And I was going to say, on there, bro, that's why I think it's so important having you. Like, when we do talk in the locker rooms after games, stuff like that, like having you in there, because you've been in the trenches with the boys in the trainings, but then all your experience in your space. And then when you're standing in that locker room, like, man, you get it. You understand exactly what they're going through mentally, emotionally. You understand the fight, like in that real sort of out of body way. And then having people there, that it just gives assurance from all my experience and sort of the space around working with athletes and supporting them, having people that understand it too. Just even if you don't say anything, it's the nod, it's the being there, being there, and win or lose. That's a big thing as well. Just look around when you're winning, and look around when you're losing, and see who's there. It's going to be a smaller crowd. It's going to be a lot of people that you'll start to keep your circle a bit more closer. Same in fighting. When you're winning and doing well, everyone wants to be your friend. You get everything for free. That's just how it is. And when you're losing, you go to that same person and, what's your name again? But no, it's just funny when you start to you see people's motives, and you see the way people are, or the way they react and their behaviors. But I feel like if you want to really be your best and take a sport and be a professional in a sport, you can't be motivated by those things. It's got to be that internal kind of accountability that's going to get you better, not for attention, for materialistic things, for the limelight, those things are byproducts of hard work and all those other things that actually matter. So yeah, you definitely notice when you're not winning, and that kind of lights a fire in you, because you're like, well, I don't like this feeling. I want to make sure this doesn't happen as often or at all. But the journey is, when you take a loss, or you're in the changing rooms where the boys are feeling it, we're just honest with ourselves. You can't sugarcoat things. If you had a bad night, just own it. Own your stuff, because that's how you grow. If you're not listening to the signs, then you're just kind of you're just walking on eggshells, kind of thing. So the only way to do that is to have those hard conversations with yourself. Look yourself in the mirror and say, hey bro, did I turn up as much as I did last game as I did for this game?
Yeah. Did
I put in the extras, or did I have good schedule or good routine? Did I get into bed earlier? Did I eat the right foods? Have I been accountable on those sort of things, when they might not seem like big 1%ers, but they are. If it's just 1%, that's enough to make a difference on the game day. So a lot of stuff like that is makes a difference at the highest level. If the other guy's willing to do it, I'll get up at 4 a.m. now and go for a run, just because I know my opponent won't be doing that. That's kind of how you get that edge. So yeah,
powerful. And look, man, sort of to drive us home, because there's been so much richness in the kōrero. But yeah, interested just for us to capture this too, like, what's life like for Kai outside of sport? As a family man, father.
Yeah.
And then off the back end of that question, bro, like, what's one or two things that Kai does to keep himself, whether you call it healthy, well, we call it finding your front. But yeah, so who are you outside of this? What's life like for you now?
Yeah. And
a couple of things, bro, that you could leave with us as salient points to keeping yourself well.
Yeah, no, thank you. So I guess Kai, the fighter, that's the surface level of what I do. That's not, I wouldn't say it's my identity. It's just people, that's what they know me for. But it's not something that I've held on to, because in fighting or in any kind of professional life, there's a shelf life of how long you can do that for. And if that's all you are, or that's all you kind of look at yourself as, when it is the day to hang up the boots or hang up the gloves, what are you now? So you have to have that. You have to have that talk with yourself, and know that when that day comes, you have to be okay with it. And there's always a journey after being a professional athlete. Something that I've kind of helped me navigate through that. I was injured last year, had a concussion, was out of contact for about 6 months. So I had a big time to kind of reflect. People would probably say it was one of a setback, but it was a massive blessing in disguise, a massive silver lining. My newborn son, my second boy, was born around that time. So it gave me a lot of kind of downtime with him, getting to be on his schedule. My oldest son's 3, Kobe, and our youngest is Core. So being able to kind of be on their schedule and help out a bit more at home while I was injured. My wife's doing Tokido this year, so full immersion te reo.
Wow.
So she's Monday to Friday, 9 to 3, full immersion. So they don't speak English in the day; they have to speak Māori, and if they don't, then they don't speak. So awesome that she's doing that for herself. Something that has been a big kind of blessing, is not being a priority for once. Being able to kind of give back to my wife and my whānau, and just supporting and uffing her on her journey, and she bringing all that knowledge back to our whānau, and I know that's forever. A lot of people say, "Oh, what is this going to do for her? What career?" It's like, no, this is bigger than that. This isn't for a financial or monetary thing. This is currency for our whānau to feed off, and for our boys to learn, and for me to learn. So I've been enjoying that kind of journey with her, learning heaps. She says, "Can you stop hanging out here, because this is my space?" And I was like, I just like being in there. So yeah, just learning off that. Outside of kind of fighting and stuff, been really enjoying just being outdoors. So I do a bit of fishing, Being on the water has been awesome. Learning off all the cousins that go diving and fishing, and getting in the water with them, and learning kind of new skills, like fishing off a jet ski, and learning how to spearfish and all of that stuff. So, been awesome, kind of upgrading stuff that I didn't really grow up doing, especially living in Auckland. You're quite sheltered, and yes, it's a different upbringing. So yeah, really enjoyed kind of doing that. But yeah, outside of that, just being around my whānau, that's what I've loved. Kind of learning from our elders, and kind of taking time to listen to where we've come from, listen to who came before us, and diving deeper into that journey of I guess discovery, sorry, and then just being a bit more just content with the way things are, not having to fight so much. I'm okay with it in the sense of when it is my next time to fight, which is probably going to be in August. I've got a long kind of build up. I'm not kind of taking it for granted where I was just fighting every month, and I was fighting 3-4 times a year, and that was awesome, but I'm motivated differently now. I didn't have a family back then. Now I can kind of have my fight camps, do all that, but then also give my time back, and be selfish when I need to, because obviously this is a selfish sport. But then know that I got to be present in my other roles that I need to play as well. So that's been a big learning. So turned 31 this year, but yeah, definitely a lot of years left in me, at least another 5 more years in fighting. But yeah, I got another title run in me. I want to win that belt. That's definitely the goal. If you're not here to be the best, then it's definitely the time to do something else. But when I took time away and the fire is still burning, I know that I still got things to do. So yeah, my next fight will be in Perth. In Australia, so not too close, not too far away from home, pretty close. A lot of the Kiwis that live in Perth, so it'll be a big one. This will be a big pay-per-view for me, and I think Izzy would be looking to be on this card as well. So, big card to be a part of, but doesn't matter who it is. It's like when you're too fixated on their opponent or the person that you're fighting or the team that you're playing, your head's in the wrong headspace. You want to be focusing on yourself. It's me against myself. That's what it is. So that's what's going to motivate me, is just being in my best version, and this all starts now. So I've got a bit of a build up, 4 months kind of to get my best, bring my best. But yeah, just slowly doing that now, building that momentum, and then 10 weeks out, when we start to really ramp things up, the body's firing. We're not neglecting anything. You're ticking off all those boxes. You're doing all those variety. Getting a lot of variety in your trainings, if that's running, if that's sparring, if that's weights. You're not kind of having any leaving any stone unturned kind of thing. So yeah, that's kind of me at the moment, just enjoying kind of getting that balance, home life, work life. Being down here at the club rooms, I'm passionate about helping the boys out and sharing spaces with a few brothers, and just being of service. That's what I've really loved about my journey is, I get to where I get to be on this platform, but I try to give it back in some way, if that's time, if that's and trying to inspire the youth and our rangatahi, or not just talking about it, doing it myself. So actions speak louder than words. I can't be talking all these things if I'm not doing it myself. So a big part of me is just trying to keep my head down and stay in the gym and keep busy, and we can all do it together. Yeah.
Awesome, bro. Well, Kai, look, man, it's been fascinating. It's been insightful. It's been inspiring. You've given me a lot of food for thought, bro. And that's the whole point of these conversations, is that we can be open and share honestly. Before I wind up, I just want to ask Ali, do you have any final thoughts or things you just want to say?
No, thanks, Kai, for coming on, sharing your story. I know you carry your family wherever you go and when you fight, and I know you make us proud when you're on that in that ring. So thanks for coming here. I know there's so many people that are listening in, so much learning. So all the very best for the next party or next fight, and see you around the club. Cheers, bro.
Bro, any final words from you before I do the final wrap?
Yeah, just thank you guys for having me on the show and allowing me to share my story, and just learning from experience and just learning as I go. But it's another chapter. The story's still being written. When I write my book, it's still got a few more chapters left to write. So just awesome to be in this space with you boys, and hopefully the boys can get up this weekend and turn those setbacks into the comebacks and just keep building.
Keep building. Well, bro, like I said, privileged, honoured, thankful to know you on a personal level, but for you to be here, like I've already said, it's massive, man. And I want to wish you all the best for your upcoming fights and endeavours, but also to you and your whānau as well, and the things you're doing outside of here. And I think that the biggest thing comes through from today, which is about giving back and about being the person, showing the person that you say you are, and through your actions. And that's massive, bro. And I think, like Ali said, that's the stuff that I think the richness, the gold in these sort of conversations. So, yeah, brother, thank you again. All the best. And for everyone else out there listening, from New Zealand Rugby League, from the game of Rugby League, and even at the Warriors, this is us, Find Your Front. We out.